All right, Zach, welcome back.
What's
I think,
up, man?
with the exception of my dad, you are the first return guest to the studio. So
Okay.
glad to have you back. For those of you that didn't catch the first episode, go back in the archives. Zach was on, I think it's been a couple of years now.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah, because you were on your way to Austria.
Yep.
So real quick synopsis of that one, adversity.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole topic of that podcast,
Yeah.
was all the adversity you faced in life and then through basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And so where I want to pick that conversation back up was towards the end. I think I was trying to make a prediction that I believed basketball was a smaller part of a bigger mission for you.
Yeah.
You had some ideas, so I just wanted to pick back up and see, what do you think about that? Do you still think basketball is your avenue to make a bigger impact in other ways, or what are you thinking?
I would say you are. I think you were right. Recently, I have started like a foundation called For the City. And right now we just do a basketball camp. And we held a basketball camp this year, and we did it for free. And we had 120 kids sign up. And it was a 2-day camp, and I mean, it was absolutely amazing. Like, the kids had fun. We were able to give them like goodie baskets and MVP awards and basketballs and Nike socks and T-shirts. Like, it was amazing. So I think that was like kind of a nice avenue shift. Like, it was still basketball, but I think I was able to, from where I am in my career, I was able to have an influence on kids. Mm-hmm. So I think that was kind of like also like a way you could pull that from, like, you know, that was another like lane from basketball. Mm-hmm. So I think that was another part to like kind of confirm what you were saying. So
do you have any new ideas in store, or just kind of maybe let's do the camp one more year, perfect it, see if we can get more kids? What's the vision?
I'm gonna continue to do the camp as long as I can. While I'm playing, and then for sure after, like when I'm done playing, whenever that may be. And I also have a book in mind, but I'll share that with you after this.
Yeah.
But I do have a book in mind that I want to like write to help athletes as well.
Okay, awesome. You mentioned when your career is done, you want to still do the camps and do more. Adversity was the last one. You're getting ready to head off in Germany in just a few days.
Yep. The 4th.
Yeah.
Today's
So
the 2nd.
what makes this upcoming season so special for you?
I think this season is special because I would say, for one, I faced a traumatic injury going into this season. So I was able to just be home and really focus in on myself, really focus in on my life, and get better in a lot of areas where I didn't have time because I was only here for so long. So being able to just be home, I was able to be better in every area of my life outside of basketball. And I just felt like God took the time to just sit me down and say, like, if you can be a pro at being a basketball player, why can't you be a pro at all these other areas of your life? And when he told me that, it was a shocker for me because I thought I was doing okay. I thought I was doing good. I thought I was being there for other people and things like that. And I was showing up, and really I wasn't, because I was just always focused on when is my next deal coming. All right, I got to go work out. That's all first. And it's like, at the end of the day, if you don't have the right people around you, or you're not growing your relationships and growing your love and your surroundings with those who mean the most to you, then the basketball stuff doesn't even matter at that point.
Mm-hmm. There's something that you touched on. I want to get to the traumatic injury and just show everybody what it is in a second. But before we get to that, you talked about determining, like, you thought you were being there for people, but you were thinking about the next deal and practice and those types of things. And I wonder if you've found an equilibrium between, you do need to be selfish at times. Mm-hmm. Like, you do need to make sure that you are getting your practice and your training and the things in, so you can get the next deal to provide for you and Morgan and a family that may come in the future.
Right.
You do need to do those things, but also, at what point is it becoming where you're doing too much? So have you found an equilibrium to that?
I think I'm still figuring it out, but I feel like I'm better at it now. I think at first it was just basketball, a little bit of family, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then this year there was no basketball. So it was all just quality time or family time, or, you know, go to this event or show face or go support, you know, your friend or your family or whatever the case may be. So I'm interested to see now, because it was basketball. Now it was just at home and having that quality time. And now it's about to go back to basketball. So The things that I learned in this period of just being home, I'm going to keep that with me and continue to make sure that I still grow my relationships and still show up however I can for people that are in my life. And I think that's where the balance will come, because at first it was just this or that, and now that I'm back that I have basketball back in my life, I have to be able to continue to keep all the relationships sane and obviously develop them as life goes on.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about this injury. What happened?
So I was playing in a pro-am like I do every summer, and just honestly, I felt good going into the game. At this point, I probably had 10 straight points, to be honest. So you would think nothing crazy is going to happen. It was kind of just like a heat check play. I drove to the basket. There was no contact from anybody or anything. So it wasn't anybody's fault. And I just did kind of you can call it a Euro if you want to. I threw it to my right hand. I took a step with my left, step with my right, and my knee kind of just buckled a little bit. And it didn't feel like it was crazy. I thought it was just something, light. Got up, made the free throw. I actually made the basket, which was kind of crazy. Made the free throw, got out. A couple weeks later, got an MRI. And then about 3 days after that, the doctor told me, he was like, I'm sorry to tell you, but you tore your ACL. And that was very devastating to hear, because I was already signed to go play for the next season. And that was that injury.
And people probably don't know this, but like we think about NBA contracts, guaranteed, you get injured, like no big deal. But Europe's a little different.
Yeah.
Like Europe, I don't know if the contracts are guaranteed, but I know they can cut them at any time, and like you're on your own, and like it's kind of cutthroat over there.
Yeah.
So how did that all play out?
I honestly, I feel like I was in a blessed situation, because this doesn't happen. I don't think so. I've never seen it, especially in Europe, because Europe, like you said, is so cutthroat. It's, next man up. We can go get somebody else that do what you do. And quite frankly, there are 1,000 other guards who probably can do what I do, respectfully. So I had to, once the doctor told me that I tore my ACL, I had to call our coach and our GM, and I had to tell him, I'm not able to come. And I probably was 3 weeks away from the flight, maybe 2 weeks away from the flight. And had to call them and say, hey, I'm not able to come this season. Which that was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do, probably in my life or just within my career. You sign a contract months later, and then you get hurt, and it's a season-ending injury. Then you have to call the same coach who called you to sign you. Now you have to call him and say, well, I can't come, so thanks for signing me, in a sense. So long story short, they told me, which at first I kind of thought it was cliche. It was, let's stay in touch, and we're still going to be here for you through your injury, which, is the correct thing to say in the sports world, business world. And I respected that. But they honestly kept their word, and for that, I just feel like I owe them everything. I owe them my all, especially this season. And throughout the whole process, I just sent them videos of me working out, Justin Ochoa. So, we recorded a lot of stuff, and, big shout out to him for just taking the time to spend with me to get me back on my feet. And we sent them videos, and I was like, hey, Justin, can you send me the videos, man? I got to send them over to, Germany. And he would send them to me, and I put them together. I sent them to the coach, sent them to the GM, and by the grace of God, they still sent me a contract to come back for this season. So that's how that all kind of played out, which is really ironic, because you go from a season-ending injury to they could have went and signed any guard in the country, any guard in the world, honestly. And then for them to still say, you know what, we still want you. Even though you went through what you went through, we still going to have faith and trust and belief in you. So, I have no words for that other than that's just God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously it's respect of your skill in your game, but to your point, we guards, I haven't played for a long time, but we guards are dime a dozen. There's a lot of us undersized guys
exactly.
that can handle the ball and then can shoot. So obviously there's skill, but I do think there is divine intervention that makes sure. And it just, to me, watching the story unfold, like it's just confirmation that this is what you're supposed to be doing. One of the questions I asked you, like to give you a little prep beforehand, was kind of like, hey, I'm going to ask, like, did you question? Did you think you needed to leave? And I think we know in hindsight now the fact that they kept their word that you are supposed to be doing this. But was there ever a moment that you were trying to figure out why me? Why did this happen? What's God trying to tell me? Was there ever a moment of doubt of like maybe this is telling me to stop?
I would say at first, yes, just because the injury is so traumatic, and you literally are sitting at home and you can't move, and you literally go from, having a season where you average 25 to now I can't even walk. So it's like, to put that in perspective, it's just like, wait a minute, like what's going on in a sense. So, I don't think I ever thought like, why me, or I'm not going to play again. I think my first instinct was, okay, well, how long do I have until I need to be ready? And I was like, okay, if I have a full year, I have to maximize this year. So I chose to look at it in a positive way. And I chose to look myself in the mirror and figure out, what ways can you be better as a man? What ways can you be better as a player? What ways can you be better, like business wise? Like, what ways can you be better impact wise? Like, what are things that you can do now that you don't have basketball? Now you have to like truly figure out who you are. You have to truly figure out like who Zac is. And it was just nothing but growth. I feel like throughout this whole 12 months, it felt like it was the longest 12 months of my life. But no, there was never a moment where I was like, oh, I'm done. I think it was just a moment of, okay, like if this is what you really want to do, then this is like the perfect time to show yourself. But if you're not going to get up every day when you don't have to, nobody's forcing you to do anything. Nobody's forcing you to recover off your ACL. They didn't tell me like, hey, we'll still sign you if you get back. Like, it was just, kind of, we'll keep in touch. So I kind of was working without any promises. I kind of just got up every day and did my rehab just to prove to myself and prove to God that I do want to get back out there. Like, I do want to play again. Like, this can't be it. Like, this can't be the end. So I think I took that approach more after I got out of my funk. I mean, there were days where, I just sat and cried because the pain for one, and then obviously just having to make that phone call, and then you watch the full season of, your friends are playing, and obviously they still had a full season, whether you're there or not. So those things stung and they hurt, but they also motivated me too. Like, okay, like if I do feel that type of emotion, that means I still want to be a part of it. So I think a lot of that just triggered me to get up every single day and just go get it. Whether I went back to that team or not, I just truly felt within that I can go play somewhere if I get back on my feet. So that was more my mindset of it, of if you really want to do this and you really are a pro and you can't let this stop you, find a way, get up, get better, figure out who Zac is outside of basketball so you can become a better basketball player and just get to work.
Mm-hmm. Before we go to the next thing, I do want to shout out Justin one more time. Justin's a former guest of the podcast, and he just moved down to Atlanta.
Yes, he did.
He's gonna be coming back on the podcast to talk about getting to join the Hawks program to be player development for the G League and for the NBA guys, which is really cool. So big shout out to him as well.
I'm really happy for him too. He deserves it.
It's bittersweet because now Roman doesn't have him to train him anymore.
I don't either.
But but at the same time, we want to see our friends achieve
you want to
their
see
goals.
Him at the highest level, and that's where he deserves to be at the end of the day. I mean, I don't think anybody does what he does here in Indianapolis or in Indiana, period. I mean, just to go from the basketball movement type of weightlifting to I can train you on the court just as good, so with skills and balance and shooting and competition and mind games. Like, I mean, to me, he's a wizard with it. So
I agree. I said it on the first podcast. I'm excited to have him come back. We were going to try to do it before he left, but he had to get down there quick. Summer League was going on.
That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. So going back to what you said at least twice you said, figure out who Zac is. Mm-hmm. What'd you find out who's Zac?
Man, I think inner work. I'll start it with kind of the process of how I figured it out. And it's kind of getting me emotional talking about it a little bit. Inner work is like very deep. When you have to sit down and like really figure out who you are as a person. Because I think we mask it a lot of who we may be or who we try to perceive to be. And when I sat down, we lived in the apartment when I first went through my injury, and we had a garage, and I would just go out there, kind of my quiet time that I would just spend with myself and the Lord, and I would have my journal. And I just sat down, and that day, for some reason, I just decided to listen. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to say anything. I just sat there and I just listened. And the first question that he asked me was, if I was to take everything away from you right now, you wouldn't have no money, no car, no house, no career, no basketball, no anything. What could somebody look at you and say, oh, Zac Owens is this? What type of person would you be? Would you be honest? Would you be high character? Would you be positive? Would you be loving? Would you be caring? Would you be kind? Are you high energy? Are you a hateful person? Are you a loving person? Those type of things. So once I figured out who I wanted to be, then it was like, okay, now let's be those things, and let's attack every day with that attitude of, this is the type of person that Zac is going to be, whether I have basketball or I don't. Now, instead of being an athlete first, it's more of like, okay, yeah, I'm a human first, but I also do this really, really well. So now I look at it more as a piece of my life and not like my identity or personality, I should say.
Sounds like this is going to sound like it's a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing. Like you almost kind of detached yourself from the identity of Zac, the basketball player.
Oh, for sure.
And I read a lot of different religions. So in Buddhism, they talk about non-attachment. Like our suffering in life comes from attachment to things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you think about growing up, when your girlfriend breaks up with you, you're sad and upset.
Right.
Well, the reason is because you were attached to that person. They're no longer there.
Yeah.
But oftentimes what ends up happening is our attachment to things will sometimes hold us back from reaching potential.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be interesting to see how this new version of you going into a new season, healthy, but from a new mindset of like, yes, you are a basketball player, but that doesn't define you. Does that allow you to be even better on the court?
Yeah, because I'm interested to see that too, myself, because I do feel different going into this season, just mentally. I just feel so much more free flowing and like less. I guess when basketball is your identity, you want to perform well so much, or
it puts more pressure on the game.
Yeah, exactly.
If your identity is no longer attached to basketball defines me. If you have a bad game, you're not going to be happy afterwards.
Right, of course.
But it's not going to bother you as much.
Right.
We talked about on Mindful Mondays about flow state.
Exactly.
I think that not being attached will allow you to enter flow state easier, because now you can walk on the court and being like, win or loss, good game or bad game,
right.
I know who I am.
Right.
And the basketball thing isn't it. So now you've put less pressure to go play there and be present, and then you hit that flow state, and now you're averaging 30 instead of 25.
Exactly. And I think it's also like you detach from it, but then you also create this other type of version of you in a sense, which I get why Kobe had the Black Mamba, because you can't be like that all the time. Right. And that's one thing that I did learn once I detached from it. I was competitive Zac with everything, with everybody, with no matter where I was at, like that's who I was. And it was just like, at some point, like, when are you going to live your life too? So now it's been interesting to see like how I can like flip that switch on and turn it off, and not necessarily like with hard work, like that doesn't turn off, but just that like being in the zone, like how we talked about Monday, like I'm able to like get in that zone when it's time to be in that zone. But then when I'm like not working out or not playing or not like perfecting my craft with basketball, I'm able to turn that off and then just enjoy my life and not be like, it's just, I guess, antsy about it or just thinking about it overly. But it's like when I get into it, like that killer instinct is still, like all of that's still there. And I think that also shows you like, who you are. I think when you carry it with you with everything, it's like you don't know who you are because you constantly are trying to keep that. So if you have a bad game, you think you have a bad life. And it's like, okay, now, no, I'm not trying to have a bad game. But if I have a bad game, I'm able to go watch the film, learn from it, and move on to the next one and just try to have a good game next game. Like, it's not the end of the world. Whereas I feel like in the past it was, I have to play good or life's not good. And it's like, man, that's not, like that's not a good headspace to be in. But like I know I'm still a killer at the end of the day too.
When as a professional, like I do think there is a little bit more pressure to have good games, especially over in Europe, because I've heard of guys getting cut after a bad game. Like that's probably the lower levels, but still.
Yeah.
So there is this pressure, but coming off of this injury where you had no basketball for a year, and you had the experience of them keeping your word that they would come back and like you can survive and make an impact and be happy without basketball. So if basketball was taken away from you, whether it be injury or somebody cut you, you're still okay.
Yeah.
I still think that puts you in the best mindset to play freely. And if you can play freely, then like you're going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly. And in a sense, it's like you almost can't fail either, because if your identity is basketball and you fail with basketball, then you feel like you're a failure in life. But if you can detach from that or change, like you never really can fail, I feel like. So with being able to now go into this season with a different version of myself and a better version of myself, I think it's going to allow me to play a lot better. Like I'll be a way better teammate. Not that I was a bad teammate, but I feel like I'll be a better teammate now, just more caring, more engaged, because I was just so competitive too. It's like, okay, yeah, I want to be the best player on the team and I'll do whatever I have to do to be the best. But it's like, if you're the best player at some point, you'll show, the cards will play out throughout the season of, okay, this is our top guy or that's our top guy, whatever the case may be. Not every day like, yo, I'm the best player here, like whatever. So I'm just glad I've got out of that type of headspace and I'm into a more joyful, loving, caring, and like kind type of mindset, just free flowing, to be honest.
I think some of the competitive mindset stuff, part of it is like, it is who we are, but I also think part of it's like culture. And like, you can't be the best player if you're not a killer.
Right.
You gotta be Black Mamba, and like, and we're kind of encouraged to do that across the board.
Yeah.
And I think that you're wise to pick up that there's a time to do that,
Yeah.
and then there's a time to not. Like how much more enjoyable is life when you're not trying to win everything?
Yeah.
Like you're just there, present in the moment, and with, like you just get to enjoy being with people rather than trying to beat them or view them as competition.
Yeah, and then you just naturally win too, because it's like you're not in competition with nobody, to be honest. Like, I mean, I guess you could say you're in competition with yourself, but you're just trying to better yourself. So it's really just a game you playing like, okay, how good can I be today? Okay, this how good I was. Okay, let me just give the best version of myself that I am right now today. Like, that's just what I'm going to give. And tomorrow I'll get better. The day after that I'll get better. Then the day after that I'll get better. The day after that I'll get better. And by the end of the season, we'll see who's the best team or we'll see who's the best player. But like, there's no need to sit here and try to carry that with you. Like, oh, I am that, I am that, I am that. Like, no, you just have to be that.
I plan on sending this to the Mindful Monday boys because you were there last week and know who you are, but I think some of them are going to experience what you experienced. Like the statistics say of the 20 boys there's going to be a handful of them are going to have some type of injury or some type of disappointment in their career. What were some things that you did, some tactical things that you can think about doing during the comeback, whether it be the mental stuff, the physical stuff? Like, what were some things that maybe will be helpful to somebody else who has their own injury, whether it be an athlete or not, but getting back to where they were and becoming better than they were beforehand?
I would say first thing, my little brother actually told me this when I caught him. I caught him crying. I was like, yo, I just tore my ACL. Like, I can't believe it. I was just supposed to leave. And this is my little brother. And he's like, you an athlete, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, athletes get injured. Like, it's part of it. So that like took me from 100 to 0, because I'm like, dang, if my little brother can tell me that, then why can't I think like that? And injuries are just part of sports. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong or anything like that, but you have to understand that injuries are a part of it. Like, if you're going to be an athlete, and especially if you're going to play at the highest level, I mean, your body's going to have to move in ways it probably never has before. So, excuse me, you're probably going to have to expect that injuries are going to happen. So not be okay with injuries, but like, if it does happen, know that it's not the end of the world. And I will also say too, for me, and this is what works for me, it's just having faith that the work that I do today will carry over tomorrow, and I will continue to get better. And having just that faith in God that, you know what, as long as I do what I need to do today, he'll take care of, months later or a year later down the road, which obviously now I'm sitting in that position to where, by me having that faith, let's say I had surgery in August. Now it's August 2nd today, to be able to get ready to leave. So I think that's just a testament to, having that faith. It worked. And watch who's around you during that time, during your downtime. Everybody's loving you when you're up and you hit a game winner, or you're averaging 20, or it's the best season of your life, whatever your sport may be. But the moment that things change, pay attention to who's around you, because the people who are around you when you're down, like, those are the people that you need around you when you're up, because it's easy for people to be front runners and supporters when everything is going good for you. But who's really going to be there for you when you're down? Because your support system, and I guess you could say your support cast is important, because everybody who I had around me during my recovery process, they helped in ways that they probably didn't even know, whether it was just mentally, whether it was just getting something for me, or I couldn't get up to walk. Hey, can you hand me a water bottle? Or can you cook a meal for me? Can you bring me a protein shake? Or can you, like, little things like that, like all of that stuff added up. But if I don't have the right people around me, I'm trying to hobble and maybe fall or do something crazy. So I think those are the main things. Like, find ways to get better throughout your injury. Like, find a way to come back stronger, find a way to come back better. Have faith in God. That would be 2. 3, watch your surroundings. Keep those people around you who are going to help you and that don't want anything from you. And 4, understand that injuries happen, and it probably won't be your last one, but do what you need to do to try to make it your last one also. And I would say the last thing is educate yourself more on your sport. There's always more you can learn. So I feel like if you do those 5 things, you can come back from injury and be okay, because all of that leads to the mind. And if you can control your mind, then you can control your destiny, I feel like.
There's something you mentioned that I also want to bring this up. I was thinking about it. You probably can't go back in time to see if there's any truth to a video I showed on Monday about Aaron Gordon. So long story short, for the viewers, go back and watch my Mindful Monday. Like, it's for kids, but everybody can learn from it. But Aaron Gordon, great NBA player, played a whole bunch of seasons, healthy, very dependable, very strong, and then goes through a tough time through life where his brother dies in a car accident. And after the car accident, he takes care of his nephews, but obviously there's a lot of trauma and stress with it, and he didn't do a good job of handling it. And all of a sudden, he started to get these injuries, hamstring injuries, soft tissue injuries, and there's science that support this. And then this is his belief, is that the injuries were a cause of him not processing the trauma of losing his brother. And so the science goes further out that I don't think all injuries are a result of us not taking care of ourselves, like mentally. But I do think that there may be some injuries that are. So not necessarily looking back in hindsight, but think about going forward, how much of a part of your care for yourself to prevent future injuries, obviously there's a physical component, but how much of it is it going to be mental? Man, and how do you train your mental, or how do you take care of your mental to try to minimize its impact on your physical?
Okay, so the first part is I think it's now it's way more mental than it is physical, because if my mind is telling me I can't do something, then my body is going to follow, I feel like. So the flip side of that, if I'm telling myself that, you know what, you can do this, you can get up, you can go and do it. And, let's talk about the rehab process every single day of, okay, I only can do this much. I only can do this much. And I only can do this much. And as much as in my first month of rehab, I wish I was in month 12 and wanted to be back on the court and to be able to play, I couldn't, so I had to tell myself mentally, like, we will get there. But if we don't take care of month 1, month 12 doesn't matter. So mentally, I think by taking that approach to it, it allowed me to do the work and allowed me to put the work in a lot easier and be patient with myself and really, like, milk down those days each and every single day to get to month 12. And it's like, Well, now month 12 is here, so I'm glad you took month 1 serious. And even if you want to break it down, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and like an exercise that I did with that, like I had a journal, an ACL recovery journal, and each day I just wrote down my workouts. And it was just a testament to myself to see my work and see my progress. Okay, day 1, August 12th, this is what I did. Day 2, August 13th, this is what I did. Day 3, August 14th, this is what I did. And I would write like a paragraph about how we were feeling. Like, okay.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did you do any of like the feeling or state of mind at that time? Because it's awesome to see what you did.
Yeah.
But I think it would be really cool and helpful to be able to go back in hindsight and say, okay, how was I feeling? Where was my mind? How was it? So I'm glad you did that. I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, so I would add like a paragraph. So, I mean, a workout wasn't much when you're, just starting out with the ACL surgery. So it maybe was about 6 exercises, pretty much everything like 4x15 or 3x10, whatever you wanted to do. And then at the bottom, I would just write a paragraph about, how I was feeling that day. And like, what was I grateful for? I would always just write one thing I'm grateful for. Like, and it would be so small. Like, I'm grateful to just stand up. And like, you don't even think about that. Like, people get up and they moan and complain about doing all this. And I'm like, here I am, like, leg stuck. And I'm like, man, I wish I could just get up and just go to the bathroom. Like, I wish I could get up or go in the fridge, get something to drink and just sit down. But I couldn't even do that, So like, I would always write something I was grateful for because I didn't want to forget it once I got to month 12 and be like, man, remember it was a time you couldn't get up. It was a time you couldn't drive. It was a time you couldn't do that. So it was like, I just wanted to make sure I was grateful and thankful for those things when I was able to do them.
I wish I had the brain that could recall like the studies, but I know there are studies that talk about gratitude and like happiness and joy. And so having a gratitude practice, even if you're not going through a recovery, just every single day, finding something to be grateful for. Like if you make that one of the first things you do, then you're more likely to have a better day. Yeah. And like I said, I don't know the study off the top of my head. Like there's a lot of podcast hosts that can like cite it, but I know there is science that suggests that. And just think about it. Even if you wake up and having a bad day or you're a tough time in life, there's always something you can find to be grateful. Yeah. Grateful that you woke up, grateful that you can get out of bed, like all of these things. And that just, once you start looking in that direction, it allows you to find more things to be grateful for. Versus if you wake up looking at the negative, then you're going to keep on looking at the negative. Yeah, so exactly. I think that's a great thing for any athlete, but also anybody going through it. Just a daily journal, how you're feeling, what went on, like a few lines, and then a couple things to be grateful for. And I would do the grateful thing. You could do it twice. Beginning of the day to set the tone. And at the end of the day, just remind you that even if it was a crappy day, there were good things that happened. And it's going to keep you elevated and operating from a higher frequency, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, I totally agree. And I think journaling was, for me, it was a good way to get my thoughts out. I think because a lot of times, as an athlete, your mind races because you're like, well, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do this? I should have did that. Like, am I eating right? Am I doing this? So it's like to be able to like just center myself and just write down my thoughts and just be honest and just be 100% truthful with myself. I think that just helps my mental state so much, and it just keeps me calm and it keeps me, I guess you can say, aligned with right where I need to be, and I know where I'm at. Whether I'm up or I'm down, at least I know, and I can figure out, okay, let me sustain being where I'm at if I am up, and if I'm down, okay, let me figure out a way I can get back up, or what area of my life isn't keeping me at a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10, you know what I'm saying? I also recently started doing hot yoga, which was really, really good. It was harder than I thought, though. At first, I just went into it like, oh, I'm an athlete, I'm cool. No, that first day, I was like, okay, like I actually got to put in some work here. But it was peaceful at the same time. And I think it was a way I could like get stronger for one, obviously just sweat and detox as an athlete. And just like, it was just peaceful, like without so much wear and tear on your body. Like, I don't know, hot yoga, that kind of changed the game for me. I bought they had like a special with like 3 classes for $20 or something like that. I did that, and right after that, I just bought the full membership. I was like, yeah, I'm locked in.
I love hot yoga.
Yeah.
And I think early on in yoga, it's hard to get to a state where your mind is a little more quiet because you're thinking about the poses, you're thinking about how inflexible you are, you're looking around and judging. But eventually, when you get comfortable with it and you build your confidence, like yoga ends up becoming meditative.
Yeah.
Especially if it's hard to do. Like, I think you go to yoga 6, right?
Yeah, yoga 6.
So you guys do a lot of vinyasa.
Yeah.
Which is like up dog, down dog, warrior 1, warrior 2.
Yeah.
So with those, your movements are supposed to be with your breath.
Yeah.
So you inhale up dog, exhale down dog.
Yep.
And if you can actually tie the movement to the breath, it almost forces you to get to a state where you're not thinking.
Yeah, you can't.
And it is like it's an active meditation. So I love it because I love to sweat when I work out.
Yes.
Like I want to, like, to me that means that I did something.
Right.
So I love the sweat. I did yoga 6 for a while. There's one right by my house, and
Okay.
I love the studio, but I didn't love the classes as much. I went back to the hot room in
Okay.
downtown Fishers
Okay.
because I really like the Bikram style of yoga. So Bikram is the same 26 movements. So it's the same
Right.
class every single time. And I like that. I don't know why I like it better.
Okay.
I do like doing vinyasas as well. My only beef with the yoga 6 was I felt like it was going too fast. And because it was
just
so
had to catch up,
fast,
yeah.
like I was thinking too much.
Yeah.
I don't need it to be super, super slow, but it was almost like some of the classes after like the second or third round, they tried to bring cardio to the class by making you go real fast. Like I didn't even hit the full pose before I'm going to the next one. And like
the next one.
yeah. So like there are people who liked it, but I liked it to where the vinyasa I do at the hot room, it is slow enough, but there's still some speed to it to where you can move at your own pace. You
Right.
can keep it to your breath and it becomes meditative. But I think everybody should do yoga.
Yeah, I do
Everybody
too.
can. Like not everybody can do hot yoga because it's not
Right.
cheap.
Right.
But plenty of free yoga on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can do it in your living room, and it's good for the mind. It's good for the body, strength, balance. Like I think about as we get older and we get later in life, one of the biggest risks is like breaking your hip.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, they'll fall and break their hip,
Yeah.
and like that's their downside because there's other complications that come with it. And the reason they break their hip is they don't have good balance. They don't have good strength. So if the yoga, you're hitting strength, even though you don't think you're hitting strength, you're hitting strength.
Yeah, you are.
And then you're also working on balance in a lot of
Yeah.
the movements. So if you continue to do that all through life, then you're going to put yourself in a better position to have a higher quality life later in life.
100%.
So like I have very few absolutes in life. Like I don't think one thing is true for everybody.
Yeah.
But I think some type of meditative practice, whether that is meditation or
Okay.
prayer, like I
Okay.
think they're the same thing, just
Okay.
different labels on them.
Okay.
And maybe because there's different meditative practices. Like some of the meditative practices, it's to get your mind quiet, but other ones are to focus on a thought or even to ask questions. So I think meditation and prayer are very, very close.
Okay.
So some practice there. And then I almost feel like yoga, like those, and then some sort of weight training. There's enough science behind that to say like you
some
should be
sort of
doing
stress, good stress.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you got into hot yoga. I think
Yeah.
more athletes need to get into
Yeah, they
it.
really do. Because I had kind of like looked at it this like a couple summers ago, and I'm like, I don't know. But like now, when I got to the point, I was able to like get back up off the injury. I was like, I have nothing but time. Let me try things and just see. I can go and not like it. Okay, at least I went. But I went and I enjoyed it. I'm like, I'm gonna keep going. And then my wife, she came and she was like, oh, this is a nice way to work out. Like I can do this. So like, cause she doesn't really like the 3x10 bench press and do that. So it's like, okay, that's cool. But now she's found something, an avenue for her that she can get into and, like start her exercise journey. So it's like, that's a beautiful way to see how it just kind of flowed through that. Because if I never tried that, who knows if we ever go?
Right, exactly. What made you want to try it? Was there was there a calling to it, or like what made you want to go in that studio?
I don't think it necessarily was like that specific one. I think I just wanted to try. I've always loved yoga. Like I always have a stretch routine at night. But I was like, what? Let me try hot yoga because obviously I love the sauna and I love stretching. So it's like, okay, well, if this is putting both of them together, why would you not do it? And I've heard other people talking about it, other athletes talking about that they do it. So I was like, well, I mean, okay, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me, and just going in there, I just fell in love with it.
I love it. You found a spot over in Germany? Do they have it over there?
Actually, I think my wife did find a spot, and it was like $20 for the whole month.
Oh, wow.
So that's definitely way better than here in America.
Yeah.
So if I can go with her or kind of go like in between practices or off days or something, I'm definitely going.
Mm-hmm. So coming up to the season, what are you most excited about?
Man, I think I'm most excited just for like that team camaraderie again. like just being on a team, like the bus rides, the team lunches, the like just getting to know each other, getting to know a group of guys, and just seeing how we all come together throughout the whole season. Because that first day, nobody knows each other. Everybody's trying to figure it out. But then you get to month 5, and you know your teammates' whole life at that point because y'all done nothing but talk. So I think I'm looking forward to that again, just being part of something, and just being able to elevate it also, like adding my value to, the team and however I can. But just playing, man, I just miss the game. I just miss being out there. I miss competing. I miss making shots. I miss the crowd screaming. I miss, kind of talking a little, mess a little bit. And just all of those. But I think the last part is just my family watching me play. Because, when it's game day for me, it's game day for them. They send me the link, we watching and got it on the TV. And, people come over like my mom's house and they watch the game or different things like that when they're back here. And sometimes we do like watch parties and stuff for people to come and watch. We'll put it on the big screen and they'll just watch me play. So just the excitement that everybody else gets from me playing in the game too, which is back to your support system. I have that, while I'm over there and they're excited, So yeah, I'm just most excited to play basketball again. Like, just to get out there, it's just going to be kind of crazy. Like, it's going to be a surreal moment where I'm just going to have to like take a deep breath, look around, and be like, okay, like, you're not in rehab no more. Like, I guess that kind of sounded a little crazy. You're not in physical therapy no more. Mm-hmm. And you actually are back out here playing. So, I think that's the thing that I'm looking forward to most. It's just getting back out there.
Is there anything that you are going to be intentional about going into this season after having to sit out a season? Anything that you're going to do different as a result of the year off?
My routine is probably going to be even more strict of just about what I'm doing each and every day. I think I want every day to just have purpose. I don't want to have any wasted days. Not that I feel like I wasted days like throughout the injury process, but you never know when it's going to be your last game. You never know when it's going to be your last moment. So I want every single day to count. And if I can make every single day count, I'll put myself in a good position to be successful, whether it's my last game playing or not. As long as every single day counts and every single day I did something to get better. And that stems from my routine being, strict of doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that over and over again, then I'll be okay. So
if you could snap your fingers and go back, would you not have the injury happen? And I know it's a hard question. I'll get the same thing. It's a hard question to answer because you're answering it from a state today where you know how a year off played out. Mm-hmm. And if you go back in time and you don't know how, like, it is a hard question. But just for the sake of the conversation piece, would you go back to have this experience again because of the injury? Or would you say, you know what, like I would much rather not have the injury?
Yeah.
And there's no right answer.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a 2-part answer to that question that I have. Like, I wish that I could have got to this version of myself without the injury.
That's a great answer.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part I wouldn't want to go back to the injury. Now, the development and the growth that I made as a person, as a man, I would still love to have that part. I wouldn't trade that part for nothing. Now, do I wish the starting factor wasn't a season-ending injury? Yes. So, no, I wouldn't go back to the injury part, but I would go back to the self-development part. So, that's kind of how I would answer it.
I think it's a great answer.
Yeah.
I think it's a great answer because you can't go back and not have this learning period restart, but somebody else can. And kind of going back to the Aaron Gordon injury type stuff, another thing that I don't know if there's any science behind this, but I have this belief that the reason we sometimes have these challenges, these traumas, is because there was a lesson that has been being taught to us that we keep missing.
Yep.
And I think that the lessons start out quiet, and sometimes we can pick them up. And other times, if we keep missing it, the only way God can get to us is to be louder. So what's louder to a basketball athlete than an ACL tear?
Nothing.
And right, exactly. And so sometimes we need that to do it. There's no way for you to go back in time and be like, oh, here were the subtle signs along the way that was telling me to mature this way and to grow this way and to think this way. Yep. So I missed those things. But to people listening, and if any of the younger guys are listening, like I think there are signs, there are callings, there are opportunities, there are messages that are being relayed to you to help you go through the growth that Zac went through without having to have the ACL to get your attention.
Yeah.
And I also think that you have this ACL. If you didn't do what you've done over the last year, then middle of this season is something else.
Right.
And it's going to take you out for a year and a half instead of a year. And it's going to keep you like, this is a lesson Zac has to learn. And you're going to learn it in this lifetime, one time or another.
Yep.
Like, it's only going to get louder. And to me, the louder comes with more pain and trauma and suffering. So
and I agree.
I think your answer was great. I don't know if I would have thought that would be an option for an answer, but I think that is the perfect answer.
Yeah.
That obviously I don't want to tear my ACL
exactly.
and go through all that pain, so I wouldn't choose that. But give me another way to find this lesson I had to learn, and I'll take that. So I think it's a great answer.
And I think the way I probably, like, looking back now, I think, man, I should have just, not that I wasn't locked in, but I should have just been more locked in, if that makes sense. I kind of had a good season, and, you know, I don't know how to explain it. I really don't know how to explain it, but.
Did you start to take it for granted?
Not necessarily taking it for granted. I think I just wanted more.
Okay.
I wanted more, and I didn't appreciate where I was at enough.
That's the take for granted part I was talking about back then.
Yeah. I was like, man, I want to be here. I feel like I'm at this level. I feel like I'm at this level. Why am I not there yet? What's this? What's that? Like, I'm better than this person. And it's like, it's not about that. Like, you're so focused on that part that you were missing, you know, all this other stuff about life and all this other stuff that actually can still happen. And I think God set me down, and he was like, yeah, you are that, but you can't have none of that until you do this. So why would I give you this and you're not none of these things that I need you to be? So now I have to tear your ACL, sit you down, allow you to grow and to become who I need you to become. Now, once you became who I need you to become, then what Zac wants, or our wants and our needs, they're right here. Okay, now allow me to take you there. Then it's like, oh, okay.
And that non-attachment to Zac the basketball player gives you the freedom to play to get you to that level.
To get there.
It's so cool, like, when you can piece these things together.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
My word of advice would be, I think the way you continue to I think about it not so much locked in, but more of alignment.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Maintaining the things that you've built as kind of your practice that keeps you aligned. Like, to me, that I think that keeps the lines of communication between you and God open to where you're not done learning lessons.
Yeah, not at all.
Like, this lesson you learned because of the ACL is not your last lesson in life.
Right.
So there's more coming.
Right.
And so I think the more aligned you are, whatever that is for you, like, to me, that's where the spirit, mind, body, money comes into play. Spirit, mind, body, most importantly. Whatever you need to do to maintain that alignment, to keep those lines of communication, to allow your intuition to guide you so you can listen to your heart, like, that's going to keep you learning to where you get to keep growing and evolving on a much smoother path. And so whatever that, whether it's the journaling or the prayer or whatever it is for you, maintain that alignment. And I think that helps you as you evolve and grow, stay open to the communication that you're receiving, so you evolve and grow the way that you're supposed to grow.
Exactly. And it's doing what you're supposed to be doing instead of learning. I think it's better to just be taught and just be taught a lesson or shown a lesson than you happen to actually go through something to get that lesson, instead of maybe what if you were journaling? What if you were meditating? What if you were already doing hot yoga? What if you were already praying? What if you were already, going to church and doing, like, what if you already were doing all of those things to the highest level, and you could have got to that point without having to have the injury? Not that I wasn't doing those things, but were I doing them to the same level that I am now? No. So like to your point, it's if you are already aligning those things and, staying in a routine or whatever you want to call it to do that, maybe you don't have to go through traumatic things to learn, and you'll just learn all of that stuff throughout the process.
I'm excited for you, man. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you. I can't wait. I didn't know there was links to the video, so I got to get links to the game so we can watch them too.
Yeah.
And I know the boys will be excited to get care package when Morgan comes back with all the candy from
some
over there.
Some German candy for sure.
Yes. Any closing thoughts? I'll let you bring the podcast to an end. Any closing thought you want to leave with anybody listening?
I do. I think first I want to ask you a question and then I'll close it.
For sure.
What is one thing you feel like you can be better at, or in life overall, challenging yourself? And 2, what is something you feel like, you know what, I've done a really, really good job at this?
So me personally.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm working on right now that I feel like I need to be better about is discipline.
Okay.
I'm a pretty disciplined person, but I've intentionally built my life to give me freedom and flexibility. And a lot of that freedom and flexibility surrounded around family.
Okay.
Like the reason I didn't try to grow my business to be bigger was I didn't want to work harder than I already was because I didn't want to miss the boys.
Yeah.
Didn't want to miss their games, their activities at school. I didn't want to be working late. And now that they're older, and also now that I have a greater sense of who I am and my purpose, I want to do more things. And so I know that in order to do the things that I feel like I'm supposed to do, I can't do it with as much freedom as I've had in the past. Yeah. So mine is discipline. I'm very good about creating block schedules. Okay, this hour is for Arlos Wealth. This hour is for creativity. This hour is for me.
Yeah.
I'm also very bad about adhering to them. So I can build my calendar out, and a lot of times I sacrifice the me side of things for other people. So a client calls and they need something that's not pressing that we actually need to do it tomorrow, but I want to make them happy. I'll try to I'll skip my workout or I'll skip my yoga to see them tomorrow.
Yeah.
But what I realize now is I need that yoga to do everything else. So I need to be better with discipline. So I have an assistant that I'm turning my calendar over to. So like 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock are when I try to see clients.
Okay.
Monday through Thursday. I'm saying if a client needs something, unless it's an emergency, I'm gonna say, great, I'm going to pull Jenna in. I'm going to let her get you scheduled. She's managing my calendar now so I can stay disciplined. And so she has less emotional attachment to the clients,
right, she doesn't
to
care.
appease them. She cares, but she's like not to the same level that I do. So it's easy for her to only offer up 1 and 3 o'clock on these days.
Right.
Versus I'm going to look, oh, there's a gap there. Let me fill it in.
Right.
So long answer for me, something I need to improve on is discipline. And I've gotten to the point where the pain of not changing has become greater than the pain of change. Meaning to give those things up before was more painful. Now, if I don't change, I'm going to be more, because I have, like, part of the discipline is having more time to do more podcasts, having more time to do videos. I have 2 groups of people that I want to work with in the AlignedLife work that I want to do, which is the life planning with the financial collaboration with the coaching. Like, those are very intense relationships. In order to do that work and work with the people that I want to work with, I need more time on my schedule. So discipline is the thing that I need to get better about. I mean, just taking the thing that I've done well. I think the thing that I have done well is being true to myself.
Ooh, okay.
This idea of the authentic life, like, it only came about through my life experiences and realizing things that I think I've done that have made me have a great life and be happy. And I don't think I always knew that's what I was doing, but I think the way I maintain being true to myself and being an authentic version of myself today is like listening to my heart. I don't know why I've always done that, but like I can go back to college even. Going to Franklin College. I remember not wanting to go there on a visit. I remember thinking I'm too good for Franklin College. Division III. Other Division IIIs were recruiting me, but like the fact that it was close to home, I had no interest in it. I went down there on the visit and I left knowing that's where I was going to go.
Already,
And like it was a heart thing. But at 18, or maybe I was 17 at that point, at that time, I wasn't aware of intuition and listening to your heart. Right. Yeah. I just knew it. And for whatever reason, I had the ability just to follow it. And so everything that I've done and the way I've moved through life has been by listening to my intuition and following my heart. And I've done something called human design and also gene keys. It's like astronomy type stuff.
Okay.
But in both of those, they're connected. I think gene keys was born out of human design, but the type based off of my date of birth and all this, like that timing stuff, I operate off of intuition. Like I was created to operate off intuition.
Okay.
And so like I read those things when I was 40, maybe 41. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. I've always done that. Now, so I think that being true to myself has been something that I have done really well. Another thing to work on is patience, like mainly patience with the boys. Like not getting frustrated with them. And I'm getting a lot better at that. That's another thing to work on. But great questions.
That's good.
And I appreciate you flipping it back on me.
Yeah,
Like, I can take control of my show, man.
A little bit. I think my closing thoughts would be to whoever is listening right now, get right with God first. That's the biggest thing that has helped me. First thing first is just get right with God, and don't let anything stop you from becoming whatever it is that you desire to become, because we are all capable of something. And don't think whatever you're doing is small compared to somebody else, because they may have started, they had to start somewhere also. And don't look at other people's success or failures and think that it has anything to do with you, because we all are made in a unique way. We all have our own life and we all have our own ways. And it's up to you to just continue to get better at whatever it is that you do or whatever it is that you have. And just live your life that way. Like cut out all distractions. Because they make it seem like the world is just so big and it's just all of this stuff going on, and it's all this and that, and it's really not. It's really not a lot going on. It's really not a lot out here, and I think everybody is going through the same thing just quietly. I think that the more that we focus on ourselves, the more we can have a better life.
Perfect ending. I appreciate it, Zach. Thanks for coming
Man,
back.
I appreciate you.
Good luck in the upcoming season, and I'll keep everybody up to date how you're doing.
Yep, for sure.